Commence primary ignition.
Hey there, friends, fans, and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset Review. I am Mike, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Archive series Clone Commander Cody. Now, this just got register unlocked at Target, so you can finally get yours now, and I'm really excited to take a look into this figure. Let's get going.
I'm Commander Cody, your new boss.
Before I begin, I wanted to remind everyone to hit the subscribe button below. That way you'll stay on the best and the greatest Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them. I previously announced on this channel that this figure was going to be available before the end of last year, and it actually was found in some Target systems, but for some reason it was register locked, and it was not only register locked for January, but pushed all the way back to April. Now, this caused a lot of confusion for collectors out there, but I am very happy to announce that the unlock has occurred, and you can now find all of this Archive series, the first line of 2021, at your local Target stores. Now, this included Clone Commander Cody, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Hoth, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo. Now, the Archive figures are fan-based figures or previously exclusive or hard-to-find figures that are reissued on the Black Series. Here we have a look at the front of the box, and this does debut the first logo for the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary. That's up here on the upper right. And this is a nice logo. It's pretty cool. I think we're going to be seeing this a lot, just like last year was the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. This year, every year with Star Wars, since it's been around for a while, is another anniversary to celebrate. 50 years is a pretty big one, and I like that they're marking the collectibles this year with this nice logo. Now we have the Black Series logo on the top. This is part of the Archive line, as we can see down the right side, which says, as we can see down the left side, it says Archive. Now that is a separate line in the Black Series that has previously fan-voted or re-released fan-favorite figures. Now, Clone Commander Cody was previously one of the highest listed Black Series figures to buy on the secondary market. It is amazing that we're finally getting a new issue, and a great revival to collectors like me who actually never got him on the first time around and whom did not want to spend the secondary market prices. Now, this is the same story with Grand Admiral Thrawn. This figure in the Black Series was previously an exclusive, a convention exclusive, so it's really nice that some of these figures are getting their just desserts in the Black Series line and for collectors to get again. Now, this Archive line kind of mirrors the old Black Series design. We have an image of Clone Commander Cody on the front there, with his name title on the side. Moving on to the back, we do have a nice change. Pardon the glare here up at the top, but we have a large image of Clone Commander Cody, the Black Series logo. We have a nice bit of flavor text and a timeline of Lucasfilm over the last 50 years. Now, this, I think, has to be one of the better additions in terms of packaging that Hasbro has done in a long time. Because if you look on this line, now that it's 2020, now that it's 2021, there is so many different series and sagas to go through. And this marks all 50 years of it, starting in 1971 with the creation of Lucasfilm Limited, going all the way up to Star Wars, The First New Hope, the first trilogy, including the animated series, and up to the expanded universe with Rogue One and Solo. I will note that The Mandalorian is missing from this timeline. Interesting that they decided to do that while they included other television series and shows. But a really cool packaging design and change, and it minimizes some of the legalese and the logos that were way too big on the packaging. Now, there is flavor text for this 50th anniversary itself, and it says, "Commemorate the first 50 years," I love how it says the first 50 years, "of Lucasfilm with figures inspired by the Star Wars animated series." So I guess that really is Clone Commander Cody. Even though we did see him in Revenge of the Sith, he was made more famous by the Clone Wars micro series and the Clone Wars Dave Filoni series. Alright, but let's free Cody from his packaging. Here we have a nice first impression look at Clone Commander Cody out of the box. Now, this Black Series figure is not new. It was previously released and very hard to find and get, and it has been re-released in the Archive collection. As we know, one of the better parts of these figures that Hasbro is reviving is the flavor text that comes on the back of the packaging. Now, this is the little description of these figures, and You know, it's usually only a sentence or two long, but it really adds depth to these characters. Now for Clone Commander Cody, it reads, "A natural and practical leader in the clone army, Cody was a good fit for General Kenobi, to whom he was particularly loyal." Until Order 66, that is. The painting and detailing on this figure is really intricate. Now, I actually have to say that I was expecting it to be a little bit more rugged, a little bit more detailed, but we really do get a nice build of the Clone Commander Cody as he was seen on Utapau in Episode 3. His brighter orange shade really brings out the white and the other different colorations in his armor. We also get a great look into the helmet design and the unique visor that Commander Cody and some of the other captains and clones wore. Now we have some intricate little painting designs on top of the helmet, as well as the tick marks on the side and his cool little tribal marks that go towards the rebreather. And they're more like suns. I've always envisioned them as little suns. But very well done here, and very unique to Cody himself. Now, Commander Cody is a veteran of the entirety of the Clone Wars. That being so, he really has seen a lot, and this armor really does show it through the battle damage and some of the little chip marks that kind of make his unique, pristine armor different. And we have some nice painting changes to the little cooling pack that charges his armor, as well as his jetpack, which is his inexplicable jetpack. How he can fly with that thing on his back, I don't understand it, but that is a jetpack. Whereas other officers and commanders in the Grand Army of the Republic differentiate themselves with unique symbols on their armor and different kinds of weapons that they carry, Clone Commander Cody is a Boy Scout among Boy Scouts. And his armor doesn't really have that much uniqueness to it beyond what it was stamped as. He carries around just the DC-15A and the DC-15S carbine, doesn't use any pistols even though he is ARC trained, and his figure represents that by only coming with these two weapons. This is right in line with his character, who tends to not step outside the lines and be as obedient as possible. Now, this Black Series figure comes with the DC-15A rifle and the DC-15S carbine for Cody to play around with. Some articulation for Clone Commander Cody. Now let's relieve him of his rifle here so we can demonstrate. Now, Clone Commander Cody, I believe this is an exact reprint of the figure that we had seen previously, because since the debut of the 6-inch Black Series figures, there have been a lot of advancements to the articulation, especially for figures who are armored. Now, this lovely little gem, even though I'm excited to see him, he does not come with he doesn't come with any of the articulation advancements that we've seen in the last couple of years. In fact, it almost feels like they just repackaged it in fact, they definitely repackaged it in the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm packaging. But who can complain? If there's any section to complain, though, it will be this section, because whereas he does look amazing, the articulation, now that we've seen several years of advancements, really does... It's lacking. So, as you can see right here, I've only had him out of the box for a few minutes, but his leg is a little bit wobbly. It will stay, but it really, both of them, honestly. He does not have Shakira hips, but he has, like, wobble legs, and that is not a positive for figures. All of these things have been changed in advancements to new Black Series figures, but unfortunately, this little devil didn't get them. Now, starting from the legs up, we have rocker ankles. They are the only really stiff joint in this figure. They do hold pretty firm. They do not go to... they do go to the side a little bit. Okay, so we got full rocker ankles, full ball and joints. Pretty impressive. Going up to the joints in the knees, we have double joints in the knees. We have the butterfly knee joints like we saw with the first-gen Black Series figures. Now, these are particularly stiff. You have to be very careful when moving them. And they were designed so that you could get more range of motion for them on their knees, but it was more... It really didn't have that much practical use to it. But the knees bend. The knees bend, and the knees bend well. And I always thought this was interesting because they had the kind of leg articulation that they were designed for vehicles, but they only got vehicles recently this year. Now, moving on up, we have thighs that spin on out. Now, these thigh joints, which are particularly interesting and make your figures and armor look way more casual, They are completely lacking in the first gen Black Series figures here. Now, that's the one that wobbles like crazy. There's a specific part that lets it stick fine, but for the most part, it's pretty difficult to find. Now, we have very, very limited Shakira hips here. Most of the motion is coming from the wobbly joint in the leg, pardon the focus. So most of the wiggle is coming from the wobbly joint in the legs here. But we do have torso rotation, some articulation in the torso. Moving on to the arms, we have the classic problem with all armored figures is their pauldrons get in the way of how high they can aim their arms. Now, this has been really proven with this kind of figure because that's as high as we can get Cody's arms. So in newer years models, they've mended this by having his pauldron be of a softer plastic and have it overlap over his chest armor better so that, it really doesn't get too much in the way and it is malleable for him to be able to pose and to move. This poor guy doesn't have it, but he does have also butterfly elbows, which is the two joints in the elbows. Wrist articulation. We have wrist joints, which is really nice. Take two. We have butterfly joint elbows, which is the two in between the armor plate, as well as wrist joints. And then moving on to the head, we have right, left, up, down articulation, but unfortunately we don't have the... Oh, wait! Isn't that interesting? So we do have the second joint in the neck, which is really nice because that does add for some extra articulation and facial expressions that you're needed when you don't have the actual face. So head articulation's there, but the rest of it is lacking. But still a great figure to have and to hold. I would certainly recommend picking up this figure. Clone Commander Cody is an excellent addition to our growing, expanding line of 6-inch Clone Series figures. Now, especially the commanders and the leadership of the clones, but a character as iconic as Cody deserves a repack and deserves to be in everyone's clone collection. If you have the DPCI codes, which I will list below, you can certainly still find some of these in shelves, and you can also pre-order them from some of the other affiliates out there like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth. I will leave all of those links below. I certainly would recommend picking up your own Clone Commander Cody. And for out-of-box and in-box collectors, because let's remember that this is a repack, and the original Clone Commander Cody was one of the higher listed figures for in-box collectors also. So take it out and play with him, or stick him on the shelf for a while to gain some price. This is a figure to pick up. Tune in here for the best Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them. Thanks for watching another episode of Binary Sunset Review. I am Mike. Your likes and your views are always greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments below what kind of clones you've gotten your hands on, and what Black Series figures you're excited about seeing in this upcoming year. Have a great day out there, stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the